happiest afternoon, everybody. This is Steph Lee, the founder of Host Agency Reviews. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar with Fora, where you're going to learn how to get started as a travel advisor, everything from the training to your very first commissions. So, you know what? I'm going to keep talking because I see we don't have anyone watching yet, so it hasn't connected to YouTube. So I might do our intro again. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No worries. I can just check Coke Zero in the meantime.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see. Perfect. Well, let's see. Okay, perfect. We are live now. All right. So, sorry for getting this intro twice, but we had a little trouble connecting to YouTube. So I am Steph Lee, founder of Host Agency Reviews, and thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar with Fora. They are going to talk with you. We have Henley Vazquez, the co-founder of Fora, who you may recognize from other webinars. And we're going to do how to get started as a travel advisor from your training to your first commission. Also, as a new face who we haven't had on a webinar here at PAR is Ross. So Henley, I'm going to pass it over to you. And then one thing to note is we're going to have room for question and answers at the end. So if you have questions, pop them in as we're going along. And at the end, we'll do a Q&A where I'll come back on and we'll get your questions answered.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Steph. We love Host Agency Reviews and are always excited to get to talk to your team here and to those who are out there doing the research and trying to understand this crazy business that is the travel agency world. So thank you everybody for joining. Yes, you may recognize my face from some of the other webinars, but I'm excited to share one of my other favorite faces from here at Fora, who's Ross, sitting here with me, who heads our training program. So today we're going to be talking, let's see, I see that somebody said that they're having a hard time hearing. I'm going to hold this microphone very close to my face. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm looking in the comments to see if that comes across all right. But what we're going to be covering today is the journey of one of our advisors, Lindsay, who started and just, built an incredible career really quickly. And, oh, great. I see that Denise said, okay, that ours is not echoing. And built an incredible career by using our training, the training that Ross has built and worked with our team with here to share how she used that and the community and the platform to really sort of rocket launch her career from zero to superstar. So let's get going. This is, I'm going to just change the slides here. I'm Henley. I'm one of the co-founders of Fora. Ross Thomason, head of training and development, and then Lindsay Burkhead will be joining us later. So a bit quickly, what are we going to cover today? Tell you a bit about Fora, if you're not familiar with us, what we're all about. Talk a bit about our portal and why we believe so much in community. This is really a core part of our business and how we're doing this, as well as our training program, which Ross will be overseeing. And then I want to make sure that we leave plenty of time for our Q&A with Lindsay and to really showcase what she's learned and how she sort of built this incredible business, and Q&A with you guys so that you have time. Here's a little picture from our live forum, which is one of our fun things that we do to bring our advisors in person. Okay, so who are we? Fora, our mission is to empower the next generation of travel entrepreneurs. And it's funny, this actual sentence is one that I just pushed back on the other day to say, I like saying our mission is to power the next generation of travel entrepreneurs, because it's not just about empowering and giving people a chance to do this job, although I will talk about why I think that's really important, but it really is about powering them as well with training and technology and the kinds of things that I didn't have when I was starting my career, and that I think makes a huge impact when you are getting started. So meet Fora. We are members of Virtuoso. We are preferred partners with all of the hotels and cruise lines that we love, but we are different in the sense that we really wanted to break down the traditional barriers to entry. So me, I've been a travel advisor for basically my entire career. I've been at this for, I guess, about 20 years, which really ages me, as this job can occasionally do. But what I struggled with is the beginning is not really having training, trying to figure out how to run my own business, like chasing my commissions, struggling to find time to do marketing, realizing that all of this stuff was really important, but actually just wanting to focus on planning great trips, and not really having the ability to do that because I was so busy trying to do the other things. What we also saw is that the industry has been very gate kept. So traditionally, right, if you want to become a travel advisor for many agencies, the way that it's been run is that, first of all, you're going to have to quit your full-time job. So forget that. You're going to dedicate this full-time now. You'll also have to spend quite a bit of money on a training program. And then you'll have to meet pretty high levels of sales in order to stay within your agency. So when you put it out there like that, it ends up being like only a certain kind of person can take that financial risk. And we wanted to create a community that gave opportunities to people who maybe had jobs they loved and didn't want to leave. Maybe were caring for children part-time and that's what they're doing. They're not going to hire a babysitter to start doing this until they know if they can make some money. Or people who were maybe sunsetting a career and starting a new one, so leaving their corporate world and starting something new and travel full-time, but really couldn't afford to just throw in the towel on their paycheck and see how it went. And, you know, I had said no to many people over the course of the years, really interesting people who often I say are like the worst clients because they knew too much about travel to be good clients, but would have been incredible advisors, but they were busy also working in tech or, you know, busy doing something else. They couldn't dedicate themselves to this full time. So we really thought, what if we created better technology than had existed before? What if we gave a chance to new people to come in? And what if we gave them all of the back office support that I wish I had had and saw what happened? And it turns out what happens is pretty cool, which is that you build a really incredible community that does this together. So get rid of the high barriers, get rid of the outdated tech, and start building a community that I do truly believe is stronger together. So our training and our technology, which now I can't remember if I'm supposed to be on a different slide at this moment. Yes, I am. What does technology really mean in travel? It could be an oxymoron to say technology and travel. What we have now is we've built a platform, and we're still in the nascent stages of this. We're only about 2.5 years old, but a platform that, for one, for booking sits on top of the GDS. You can search, discover, quote, and book right there with visibility across platforms. So no more, if you're familiar with this little dance, doing the how much is the virtuoso rate, how much is the direct rate on the website, how much is the rate on leading hotels. It actually is all pulled into our system, including the first agency integration with tablets, so you can see those rates as they're there as well. You can also send a secure link to your client to collect their credit card information. You can add their, say, World of Hyatt loyalty number and know that anytime you book a Hyatt for them, it's going to be automatically uploaded when you go to do that booking. You can also see what are other Fora advisors booking. You'll know if this hotel has been booked X many times by X many advisors. And you can pop into Forum, which is our chat app, to actually connect with those other advisors and ask them, hey, what do you think about that hotel? Or has anybody had somebody who's eaten at a great restaurant near the Tower of London? Which is also searchable. So you can go in, search, find, and really educate yourself as well with the training. So I'm not going to go too much into the training because I want Ross to have a chance to talk about that. On top of that, AI, it can be a little bit scary. I think when people talk about AI, people love to say, and by the way, people have always said this, oh, this will replace, you know, whatever it is. And enter word here will replace travel agents. And it turns out that doesn't happen because people need help planning trips. What we're doing with AI is using something called Sidekick that actually reads all of our training, all of our community forum, all of our help center articles. So when you're trying to discover something, you can actually go in and say, what are the best new boutique hotels in Rome where my clients would have perks if they book through me, and actually get directed into the right information. So that, again, all of it is the goal to be able to do your job as an advisor better and faster and more efficiently, which all makes it more fun. So with that, what I want to do is pass this over to Ross, because training is everything. Our advisors are dead serious about the work that they do. And we're dead serious about building a program that supports them wherever they are in the pathway to building a career as advisor, whether it's something that they're doing full-time, part-time, whether they're experienced, whether they're just getting started. Everybody needs support and training. I think one of the things I love so much about this industry is you actually never know everything. It never gets boring. And our training program is very important to us. And so I'm going to let Ross, who is the guru behind all of this, actually talk about what he's done.
Thanks, Henley. Hi, everyone. It's super exciting to be here today and to chat about how we approach training at Fora. I think first and foremost, if we just go back to the mission that Henley highlighted, we really think about empowering the next generation of travel advisors, and doing so in a way that makes sense for this next generation. It was our priority when we designed. So we have a multifaceted approach to our training program. We have live, recorded, and in-person opportunities to learn together. And we've structured that in a way so that you can learn anytime, anywhere. We have recorded lessons in our training library that you can access, again, anytime, anywhere. Our training library is searchable, so if there's a particular topic that you're interested in, you can simply type in a keyword and a training will pop up to hopefully get you what you need in the moment. But we also pair that with live labs and virtual learning opportunities to collaborate with other advisors, to pressure test ideas, and to get feedback from Fora HQ experts and other travel leaders. We also combine this with in-person opportunities to learn together. And so just this past week, we hosted a group of almost 40 advisors here in New York City, where they got to learn and collaborate with one another. And we covered topics that just go beyond the foundational tenets of booking travel, and really talk about building your business, scaling operations, and really thinking a little bit more strategically about where you want to go and take your business from here. So all those different elements combined, we think, create a really robust learning opportunity for advisors. And we've also layered in some design elements that allow advisors to learn in a formal instruction setting, but also like sort of in tandem, do that in collaboration with others in social settings, as well as on-the-job learning, which we think is a huge component of doing this work well. And so I think for many of you who may have booked travel before, you probably learn something new every time you make a booking. And that is one element that we're keenly aware of at Fora and have designed our tools to meet advisors where they are, even if they're just getting started out. So every week we host nearly 80 opportunities to join, learning opportunities, whether they're dedicated and focused conversations, or if they might be in more open format office hour style space, which we know is important for early advisors who may just have lots of questions and they're not always related. So we wanted to provide open format spaces for those questions. We also know that there's a lot of life priorities balancing people's time right now. So we have opportunities to learn in the evenings, even on the weekends. And so we're really excited to be able to meet advisors where they are based on whatever life priorities are also on their plate. In May alone, we saw a lot of activity in our recorded lesson library. We had over 35,000 lessons completed in our advisor community. And so we know that there's just a ton of hunger for learning and training opportunities, and we're really excited to be able to provide that. And it's only getting better. We continuously add new tools, new topics, new travel partners into our training library. And so we're just really excited to see where it goes from here. One of the things that you might be curious about is what are the different sort of training milestones that we encourage advisors to meet as they get started and grow as an advisor with Fora. So when an advisor first joins Fora, we encourage them to get certified, to go through our certification program, to learn the fundamentals. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? How do you build relationships with travel partners? What does it look like to work with clients, to encourage them to make decisions and get those bookings logged? But also, how do we understand our role in the ecosystem of travel and the real value add that we can provide as advisors? From there, advisors continue their journey, and as they grow their business, can hit additional milestones like Pro, or even Fora X, which is the community that Lindsay is part of, and we're really excited to hear from Lindsay as well. I believe Lindsay's here, and so I'd love to invite Lindsay to join us for this conversation, and to introduce herself and just talk to us a little bit more about her journey with Fora, as well as how she leveraged our training opportunities to really build a business as somebody who had never booked travel before.
And actually, Ross, before we do there, I'm just sharing a slide here that shows a little bit of what that training portal looks like, because I think it's nice to say like, oh, we have all this training, but I always love to show it because, again, like having come up in this industry my whole career, what quote unquote training looked like, sometimes was like a binder that was, passed around with some printed materials in it. So this is our training portal. So everything is loaded in there. You can go in and search, and it's anything from just getting started, how to navigate our system, like, what is the DMC and how to work with them, to destination specific trainings, which are led by us so let's see, last week it was South Africa. The week before it was Charleston, Savannah. So you can actually go on and not only learn about the properties that we work with and recommend there, but also like what to tell your clients to do, where they should be eating, what's an itinerary look like, whether it's 3, 5, 7, 10 days. And all of that can be really helpful because, again, clients, they come at you at all times of the day and night. And if it's Saturday night and somebody asks you about Bhutan and you're not really even sure how to spell it, you can go in and you can watch my face talking about that, so that by Sunday you're able to actually say something that makes you sound reasonably intelligent to your client. So all of this information is here, and you can see within that left rail over there, bookings. I saw some comments about, I don't know how to use Sabre. Yeah, me neither. I've been trained in it twice, and I'm not like dumb, but when I look at Sabre, I feel pretty stupid. Our platform is built on top of the GDS, but is a regular graphic interface like anybody else would use. You don't need to know Sabre in order to be able to use the GDS when it's ours. Clients that you see there, that's the CRM. Partners, that's where you can go in and discover all of our preferred partners, whether it's the hotel groups, the DMCs, the tour operators, the cruise lines, which we love, and then lots of other marketing resources, clicking straight into your email, getting help, going to Sidekick, or of course, popping into Forum for lots of chatter about travel. So yes, now let's wait. Do we have Lindsay here? Let me pop. Okay, there she is. So I'm popping between two screens. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, Ross. Hi, everyone. I'm really honored today.
Good, Lindsay. I'm going to let Ross, because you guys have worked together so much, say, like introduce you a little bit, but then I'd love for you to just talk about how you got started. So Ross, would you like to introduce Lindsay?
Absolutely. Hi, Lindsay. Thank you for being here today. We've gotten to know each other quite well in your time as a Fora Advisor, so I'm really excited for you to introduce yourself to our community of listeners today. I know you're a Fora X Advisor, which is a really special community here at Fora. It signifies that you've really hit some incredible sales milestones and are really building a really strong business that is something to be very proud of. So congratulations to you. I'm always excited to say that to you. And I know, you joined Fora in February 2023. And so just to see the success that you've had so far is incredibly impressive. And I'd love to, turn it over to you and introduce yourself a little bit more and clue us into what some of those key drivers were for you as you started this journey as a travel advisor.
Great, thank you. So I live in Wellesley, Massachusetts with my husband and my 4 kids. They're 7, 10, 13, and 15. For 20 years, my husband and I owned and operated a celebrity stock photo agency. And during the pandemic, I decided to change career paths. I've always been very passionate about travel, and I have a love affair with fabulous hotels. When I was 15 years old, I used to convince my boyfriend, who's now my husband, to literally drive me around, because I didn't have a license, and stop at hotels. And I would walk in with, no appointment, and I would ask if I could have a tour of the hotel. And they would always accommodate me and give me a tour. And little did I know that there was actually a technical term for that in the travel industry called site inspections. I never had actually traveled as a child, with the exception of one trip to Disney World when I was 10 years old, and we stayed at the Polynesian Hotel. And I remember riding the monorail and swooning over the Grand Floridian. And I asked my parents, why didn't you have us stay there? And I vowed that when I grew up, I was going to take my kids to the Grand Floridian, and I kept that promise. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. When I became a parent, I knew I really wanted to be able to give my children the gift of travel. And I was on a mommy-daughter alone trip last year to Charleston with my 9-year-old, celebrating her birthday. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool to start a family business together? And all of the kids could be involved. And Stella brilliantly said, what about the travel business? You love to travel and you plan the best trips in the world, and we go to the best hotels. And I was on the plane ride back, and that's how Posh Places Travel was born. I came up with this name that I thought was cute and catchy. I had this great idea, but I didn't know anything about becoming a travel agent. But I was determined to find out everything that I needed to know.
I love that. And I do love, like, one of the things we've talked about in the office, like, this really is, look, it's a family business for so many people, because travel is really our lives when we're doing this job. But in particular for you, I mean, your kids are helping you write your business plan. Your husband is like the #1 supporter. It's just incredible to see, like, you've launched into this, but with your whole family coming along for the ride, which is just like the cutest thing ever. We love it so much. No, Lindsay, obviously you and I'm gonna let you talk about this, because it is, even when we talked about this the other day, it's even deeper than you had like spreadsheets. You dug deep because you've run businesses before, and you were really serious about, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this the right way. So when you were sort of thinking about host agencies, what stood out? What made you choose Fora over the others when you were spreadsheeting everything out there?
So I would say, like every successful business owner, the first thing I did was go to Google, and I searched how to become a travel advisor. And I quickly learned that I needed to find a host agency. And by the way, Henley, I Googled that term today, and Fora was the first website that popped up when I Googled that. So a big shout out to the brilliant marketing and SEO team at Fora for that one. But anyway, I had spent hours on host agency reviews and started the spreadsheet to keep track of all the different agencies and what they offered. I am a self-proclaimed hotel snob, and I'm totally obsessed with fabulous hotels. Some girls love expensive jewelry. I love a 5-star hotel with amazing perks and exceptional service. I'm also a hotel hopper. I drag my kids and husband all over the world, moving every couple of nights to different luxury hotels because I want to experience them all. I quickly learned that the only host agency I would join had to be part of Virtuoso. Virtuoso partners with thousands of luxury hotels, cruise lines, tour operators, and travel advisors receive special perks for their clients when booking Virtuoso affiliated companies. And once I knew I wanted Virtuoso, I could narrow down the list of host agencies. So I spent weeks setting up phone calls to dozens of host agencies. A lot of the host agencies wanted me to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for their training, or they required me to have $1 million in bookings every year, or 2 years of experience in the industry. And while I wasn't opposed to paying for training, I knew I needed the best training there was. But I also wasn't sure how much time I was willing to devote being a travel advisor. To being a travel advisor, because I have the 4 kids and their schedules are busy, and I didn't want to commit to something that I wasn't sure if I would actually follow through on. And that's when I found Fora. And before I had my first Zoom call with Fora, I fell in love with a video that I actually watched of Henley speaking about Fora and her love of the travel industry. And I felt so excited after watching Henley speak, and she ignited a spark in me. And Henley, I know you asked me what set Fora apart from other host agencies. You've asked me that before. And a quote that I love that you guys have is, "Fora is built for the next generation of entrepreneurial travel advisors. Our mission is to empower anyone with a passion for travel." Fora has truly modernized the travel agent industry. They give you everything you need to start your business as an advisor. And when I say that Fora gives you everything, I'm not just referring to the amazing staff and training. I'm talking about the Fora family as a whole, which includes all of the advisors. We all learn so much from one another, and there's an eagerness and willingness to help each other. And at Fora, we're always learning, whether it be by watching one of the thousands of training videos, asking a question in the community forum, which will instantly, get tons of responses for you, or you can attend a fam trip or a conference with other colleagues, and you get to know one another. So we are always learning from one another, and that's one of my favorite parts of being with Fora.
I'd love to just jump in here and take an opportunity to ask you more specifically, as you started this role as a Fora advisor. You had so much of your own personal travel experience before. You knew that you were focused on luxury. You enjoyed it yourself, and I'm sure many of your clients do as well. And when you think about some of those early days and getting trained up and really learning the fundamentals, whether it was on your own time with a recorded lesson or maybe learning in community with other advisors. What were some real highlights for you, and what do you think were those aha moments as you went through our training program?
So I became totally enamored with Fora's training sessions. And Ross, I tell you this all the time, you are so fabulous and you taught me so much during my first month of training. And I so enjoyed watching all of Leslie's videos. I loved watching Kelly's videos on marketing. The virtual platform that Fora provides is outstanding. There are dozens and dozens of all sorts of types of different training. There's, I think you said thousands of different destination videos or training videos. I have not watched them all yet. I have watched hundreds of them, but I love each and every one of them, and I learn something new every time I watch one of the videos, and they aren't boring at all. I literally am glued to them, and I feel like I'm there experiencing it live, which is a really unique quality. The forum is the most magical community. We learn so much from our peers, and I feel so connected to the Fora community, and I know all the other advisors share that same feeling. Fora not only provides the training, but they provide all of the marketing tools that every advisor needs to be successful. Every single employee at Fora is super passionate about travel, and they truly love their jobs. I had always been envious of people who loved their jobs, but I didn't really think it was possible until I became a travel advisor with Fora.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm blushing. We're all blushing over here. This is so nice to hear. And it is, I mean, I think one of the things that we don't talk so much about is what actually happens here in HQ. And actually, you know, there's 60 some employees out there. There's like, feel like there's a new engineer here every day building these tools. But we really encourage all of them to actually go out and be booking and doing the job of a travel advisor as well, because I think in order to build the right platform for people like Lindsay to go and become superstar advisors, you also want the people who are building the tools to understand the pain points that we encounter. So Ross is booking, our head of engineering, I remember sitting next to him as he was sorting out a booking in Miami. And so everybody's there actually doing the work of this so that what we build, whether it's the training, whether it's the platform, works for our advisors. And so what I wanted to turn to now is when that works really well, and when somebody does really well, like you have, what we launched is a program called Fora X, and Fora X is for our top advisors. And really the idea was to create a boutique agency within the larger platform. I deeply believe that the power of community is we are stronger together. However, for our top advisors, we wanted to create something that was more of a boutique feel for a smaller community of those who are going out and attending conferences and needed a little bit more in terms of high level support for how do I build my business? How do I scale myself once I'm at this point? So you're a part of that, obviously, Lindsay. You got there quite quickly. And I would love to just sort of, if you could share a little bit about your journey from 0 to 4X.
So when I started at Fora, I had no idea how I was even going to be able to hit your pro status. I thought that will never happen. That's going to take me years. And I think I hit it in the first month or two. I loved what I was doing so much. And I think when you love what you're doing, it sort of just happens organically for you. I never imagined that within my first year at Fora, I'd be in the top 3% in sales and invited into this group. I was fortunate enough to be invited on a fabulous fam trip to Greece just a couple months after, or maybe a month after finished training. And I felt so intimidated by all of the advisors. I thought, how they're all on their phones during the day because they have clients. Here I have maybe one or two. And I thought, how am I ever going to get to this point? Everybody was so supportive, and they said, no, you can do it. You'll be able to do it. And I would say the next step from there really involved me reaching out to all of my contacts. They always tell you, start with your own network of family and friends. But I do want to say, don't be discouraged if you can't get your friends or family to book with you. I can't tell you how many advisors, including myself, that have had a really difficult time getting friends to book with us. Referrals have been the key to my success as an advisor. I am super grateful to all of my clients because they have helped me grow my business by referring me to their friends and family. But I'm also really grateful to my colleagues at Fora, because I really don't believe without the training I would have gotten to this point. I know I say you complete training to get to different levels, but the truth is training never ends. I am always learning in this industry. There's always a new hotel being featured, a new training on a destination, a new marketing video to watch, and I've poured my heart and soul into growing my business and learning as much as I can. And while I thought, oh, this will just be a part-time thing that I do, this has become a full-time job. And yes, I work weekends and evenings, but I really love what I'm doing.
Well, and I think the fact that it's become so full-time for you is really a testament to what you said in terms of building the client base. It is hard sometimes to convince your friends and family, like, by the way, you have to book with me. So it is an effort that you have to keep putting out there. But I mean, I completely agree with you. It's those referrals is really the important thing. It's that you find a client that trusts you, and they're going to give you referrals to other people they're coming in sort of, they're a warm lead, right? They're a warm introduction. They already know that you did a great job for your friend. We see a lot of questions around leads. And once you hit 4 Pro, we actually do have a leads program that's close to producing about, I think, $1 million in sales a month for our advisors. And you can get access to that eventually. But the key to getting your business started, and I would say this really with any agency, is you have to be like Lindsay, where you get out there and you kind of press the flesh a little bit. You let people know what's going on. And that is how Lindsay got here so quickly, is just being, it's hard to sometimes to say I'm in sales, but to say I am. And I want to plan great trips for people. So I have to put myself out there and do that work of saying, this is my job now. Come support me and book with me because your trip will be way better, which clearly all of Lindsay's clients can see. Now, I know a lot of you who are on this webinar are here either because you're curious about Fora, or you're just curious about travel agencies in general. And I know it's like a big confusing thing, and not everybody has a spreadsheet in order to figure it out. So Lindsay, what advice would you give to people who are on this call in terms of how do you sort out like the differences between agencies and find the right fit?
So the best advice I can give anyone who is in the same boat that I was in a year ago is to do your research. Talk to other advisors, make sure that the host agency you choose is going to have the training, the tools, the support, and most importantly, the community feel. I believe that is crucial to being successful in this industry. Fora has been everything I needed in a host agency, and what I cherish the most is that I feel valued by my colleagues and the incredible team at Fora. So thank you, guys.
Well, thank you. And then once somebody has actually gotten started, what's your best advice for a newcomer into the industry? They're trying to get their business going. What would you say to the you of a year ago?
So what I would say to me from a year ago, I was never a person that would walk up to strangers and hand them my business card. If you had told me I was going to be doing that, I wouldn't have believed you. I keep business cards with me. I find I now enjoy going to parties and talking about travel with people. I am passionate about it, so I'm not forcing a conversation. And what I've learned is almost everybody likes talking about travel. I don't think I've met anyone who hasn't enjoyed that. And just sparking up conversations with people in airports, at hotels, in coffee shops has really helped me grow my business. And I was at the nail salon the other day and someone heard me talking and they said, "Are you Lindsay Burkhead from Posh Places Travel?" And I said, "Yes, how did you know?" They said, "Oh, I heard about you. I saw you online and I recognized your photo." So it's really fun when you see that all of your hard work is actually paying off and but you have to have the confidence to go out there and really sell yourself, which is not easy to do, but if I can do it, anyone can do it.
I love that. And it is true. Sometimes it can feel a little embarrassing, but I think that's to me why training is so important, because we want our advisors to feel confident that they have the community support, the training support, the access to information that you can't possibly know everything about everywhere. I have done this for 20 years. I sure don't know everything about everywhere, but that you'll always have the ability to quote unquote phone a friend. So to go into the community, to get the training. And that really is how you build your confidence. Because the first time booking a trip to anywhere can feel a little intimidating, and then you got it. And then the second time is easier. And so we want to give people the tools to really give them that confidence that Lindsay has developed and makes her recognizable in the nail salon. I love that. To get started and feel comfortable putting themselves out there to say, you know what? I can do this job and I can do it really well. Because truly, as you were saying with the referrals, it is doing this job well that gets new clients to come back in, and that is, or the same ones to book again, and for them to refer new clients to come and start booking with you. It is all about, it's in some ways so transparent, like do your job well and your good business will follow. So I know that we have a lot of questions that are popping up. So I want to make sure that we save some time for that. I'll quickly go through this. Okay, if you are on here and you are interested in joining, so you will go to www.foratravel.com/join-us. If you just go to foratravel.com, you'll find it. But our wait list is a little long. So we have a code word for those of you who are on here today, which is Lindsay. The lovely Lindsay here. When you fill out the application, it will ask you, do you have a code word to skip the wait list? Please use the name Lindsay, and that will allow our team to pull you up to the top of the wait list and look at your application right away, rather than getting lost in the very long amount of people that are in there. One thing that I like to tell people when you're thinking about this application, this is not it's not just something that we have out there to do. We're serious about the applications. Take it seriously. Think about when we ask you your favorite hotels, it's not just like, I don't know, a Marriott. Which Marriott? Why? There's lots of great ways to travel. It by no means needs to all be the same thing, but the best travel advisors are people who, like Lindsay, are passionate about travel. So whatever it is that you're excited to build a business around, it's good to have strong opinions for it, because there's a right place for everybody, and knowing this kind of person should stay in this place, that kind of person should go on that kind of trip, is what makes you good at your job. So when you're doing the application, have fun with it. Think about what would be, what would you say to somebody when they're actually trying to plan a trip? And our membership team will review it and get back to you. Okay, we're going to open it up to audience Q&A. Lindsay, if you don't mind staying on here, because I think there's probably going to be some questions for you. And I will continue muting. I heard that there's a bit of an echo here. So when neither Ross or I is not talking, we will mute here to make sure that echo doesn't come in.
Perfect. Okay, I think my echo is gone. Sorry about that earlier, everybody. But we've got a ton of questions here. Before we do, Lindsay, I have to say this is amazing that you used to tour hotels for fun and go into the lobby as a 15-year-old. It paints this just really amazing picture in my mind, and love it. Love that passion. All right, so we have a question. Hi, I'm excited to be here. I do have a question on your payment methods for commissions. I'm with another agency, and the main issue I have is getting paid. The back office is very outdated. So how does the commission process work over there?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in and take this, because I personally, having run my own smaller agency before this, have faced all of those pain points of what it means to collect commissions, which is why we invest very heavily in this. So we do put our money where our mouths are in this case. So we have, we do all the commissions collecting for our advisors. We also list If somebody is a risky payer, meaning that they will pay slowly or you don't know how well they pay commission, we will list that in our portal, as well as we give estimated payout dates. So we have lots of data. We know when these hotels are sending in their commission, and we will actually go in. So if you're looking at a hotel, you'll see this one, you'll get paid for this on this date. In terms of just actually the people that are doing it, we have 5 people in the finance team here in our offices in New York, and we have about 20 in our offices in the Philippines. So we are a true 24/7 staff focused on getting you your money faster. And I will say, like, no shade on any other agency. It is incredibly hard. You wouldn't believe what it's like. Like, you get wires with names that don't match up to any hotel out there. It is a really complicated business of matching it up. And that's why we have such a big team dedicated to it, because truly doing this job, like, you should get paid for the work that you've done. You already have to wait until after the client has traveled, of course, for the hotel to pay out the commission. So we want to make sure that when that happens, the money gets to you quickly.
Perfect. We have another one. I'm struggling with where to start in general. I'm in the Travel Institute's program, but what then? I have no Sabre experience. And for those that don't know, Sabre is the GDS system. And no company will hire an inexperienced individual to their company. And I think Tracy followed this up with saying she's open to being an employee or an IC.
Ross, do you want to take this to talk about training and sort of starting from zero?
Oh, Ross, we need you to turn your mic on.
Is that on mine?
Sorry, that was me.
Is that on mine? All right, I think we're good now. Yeah, as a Fora Advisor, you would be an IC, and we have designed our application process to review applications from anybody who's travel obsessed and has a perspective, as Henley mentioned, on booking travel. So you don't have to have had prior booking experience or tons of experience as an advisor in order to become a Fora Advisor. That's really where our training program kicks in. So we have, like I already mentioned, sort of a multifaceted approach to training. We would encourage you, to start with our certification program, go through those steps, really learn the fundamentals. And one of the things that we mentioned, but I think is just a huge differentiator for Fora Advisors, is our booking platform. You don't need to learn Sabre. Our booking platform is layered over the GDS, and we really clearly expose commission rates. We make booking super easy in just a few clicks. Your clients will have profiles loaded in, and all you need to do is select the property, select the client, confirm their method of payment. You have a confirmation in hand. Hopefully your clients have booked with a preferred partner and have some perks and amenities, and you've earned commission along the way. And that can also happen on the go. So I've literally woken up some mornings and made bookings on my phone before I got out of bed. I woke up to a client text message that was like, I have an emergency trip to Nashville. I need to book this hotel. Can you get it done for me? So we make it super easy for you, and you don't need to worry about learning Sabre or any other type of GDS platform.
And then I'll just weigh in, because I started my career in-house, so I know what that is to also start. And there can be some real value if you're working at an agency full-time and you're working under an established advisor. I had to start just learning all of myself, and then eventually hired people that worked under me, and I trained them. So it is a different route. I think if you want the flexibility and independence and want to be a business owner like Lindsay, then going the IC route is that. But there, also there are those in-house jobs out there if you're looking for something that's an in-office, more salary position.
Mm-hmm. And I will say a lot of agencies are struggling to find people. It used to be where they wouldn't hire inexperienced advisors, but now they're willing to train because there's such a shortage of travel agencies. So that route, if you're thinking about it, there are agencies out there hiring inexperienced advisors. All right, so another question. If you're employed at a travel company full-time, and I'm assuming this doesn't mean travel agency, if you're employed at a travel company full-time, can you still be a Fora travel advisor?
So that's because I'm not entirely sure what you mean by travel company there. So, okay, you can't be with 2 travel agencies at the same time. You can only you got to pick that lane and stay in it. However, in terms of if you're working as a travel company, we have hoteliers who are also Fora advisors. It really is there just up to being open and making sure it's okay with your full-time employer, because you want to be, sort of honest and transparent there. What you can't do is use the Fora community as a place to come and sell to. So I work for Hyatt, and I'm going to join Fora and just get people to book my Hyatt hotel. That's not okay, because we are supposed to be a community of collaboration, not commerce off each other. But But otherwise, yeah, I mean, we have people in the community who are hoteliers. We have them who work for Google. They are lawyers, they are bankers, they are DJs, they're artists, they're literally everything. So by no means does working in travel already preclude you from being a travel advisor. You just have to make sure that it is okay with your employer, that you're also doing this on the side, and that you're not using sort of the community as just a way to try to get more business.
Mm-hmm. All right. Can I maintain a profile on Virtuoso even though my sales do not meet your requirements for that level? The Virtuoso profile and personal web pages are so valuable. I cannot imagine starting out without them.
Yeah, so we'd probably have a call to talk about that. We are, pretty strict with Virtuoso about what our requirements are for advisors to be represented on Virtuoso as a Fora advisor in terms of their completion of trainings and sales. But people come over from other agencies and we have a conversation with them, like talk about your sales, give us supplier references. So that's definitely a conversation we could have.
How would a beginner agent expand clientele? Would Fora give or recommend clients to us?
So I'll say a bit about our leads program, but then I'm going to pass this to Lindsay because she was such an expert at expanding her clientele. So we do have a leads program. Once you reach the pro level, you do have access to it. These are leads that we generate as an agency. They come in, we vet them for you to make sure they're legit, and then we give you leads. So we have it, it's all in our portal, or will be in our portal right now. It's in our form, and you can go in and claim leads and actually find this as a new way to further your business. It's not available until you're in pro because we want to make sure before we start giving sort of direct consumer leads that you're pretty good at what you're doing. So that's just to make sure, sort of protect the brand and protect travelers, because we want to put like the best of travel advisors out there to the world and make sure that we continue to promote the idea of booking with a travel advisor as the best way to plan travel. However, it is possible eventually. And Lindsay, I would love if you would talk a little bit more about your best tips because you did such a good job of building that business. I don't even know if you need any leads.
So I, like all advisors, used to be waiting for the leads to be released, thinking this is how I'm going to get my business. And I don't think I've even requested a lead in the last couple of months. I'm so busy, which is a great thing. But I think that obviously you want to start with everybody you know. Even if they were someone you went to elementary school with. I reached out to everybody I knew. You can send them a message on Facebook, Instagram, you can send an email and just let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'd love to help you plan your next trip. We're all on social media. I would assume if you're here, you've probably seen some ad for Fora or being, a travel ad on social media. And your friends are always posting about their fabulous trips. I would comment on their photos and ask them if you could help them find, plan their next vacation, or maybe even look up some of the perks. If you saw somebody went to a fabulous Four Seasons, you could say, oh, you should book the Four Seasons through me because I can get you possibly a complimentary upgrade, breakfast daily, early, late checkout, and I'd love to help you put together an itinerary with activities, and you will get responses. It might take reaching out to 100 people, maybe 200 people, but I promise you, you'll get responses and then it will really just grow organically.
Perfect. Well, what are the benchmarks for Fora Pro and Fora X?
Ross, do you want to take this?
Yeah. I hope you all can hear me this time. So we have a few different requirements as advisors progress in their journey. Fora Pro would be, the next stage that our advisors really are motivated to achieve. And so Fora Pro is defined by achieving $100,000 in sales in the calendar year, as well as hitting some other types of metrics like minimum number of clients, as well as getting some client reviews to establish yourself as a trustworthy and valuable travel advisor for your client base. And so then from there, it's really about taking off and becoming one of our top producers to look forward to Fora X, which is an invitation-only program. And so it's, I think, something that we see a ton of advisors feel very motivated to achieve. And I think, when they join Fora, they're like, what's my milestone? What am I really looking for? What goals do I want to set for myself? And achieving Fora Pro status really is that first big milestone that our advisors really like to achieve, because it just opens up so much additional exposure and industry access that is really invaluable as we continue to build our businesses as advisors.
Perfect. Thanks, Ross. So if someone is already on the wait list, is there a way to use the code Lindsay? And remember, everyone, it's Lindsay with an A. I don't know if that's going to matter or not, but it is with an A, I noticed. So can they go back or add it to their application?
Yes, we were actually laughing about that when we were prepping for this call, because we were like, oh man, we better search for Lindsay with an E and Lindsay with an A. It's like, everybody.
And with an I. I didn't think about it.
With an I, an IE, I don't know. Yes, so what I would say is, if you are already on the wait list and you've submitted an application and not heard back yet, just go do it again, and with Lindsay with an A as your code word, just resubmit your application so that they'll find it, because there's not a way to or that I'm aware of, I don't think there's a way to find it, pull it up, add that. So just do a new one.
Perfect. How do commissions work? Are they monthly payments?
Great question. As Henley already mentioned, we have a full team that is collecting commissions, chasing them for you, and commissions are paid twice per month, and they're typically paid, after checkout, which is when travel is realized, and we can work with our travel partners to get those checks on the way. And for our reliable and trusted partners, we're able to pay those pretty much, within 14 days of checkout. For our non-preferred partners, or for some of our partners who've been shown to pay commission inconsistently or unreliably, advisors typically expect commission within 60 to 90 days. But we do have sort of a hold until receive status for some of our travel partners that we just don't have payment history for. And I know that that can be, something that we have to think about, especially if this is going to be a meaningful source of income for us. So one of my favorite things that we do is, in our bookings log, you can actually see what the status is for each of your commission checks. And we get pretty specific with it, including if our team's actively chasing commission, if the partner's been in touch but it's delayed for some reason, or if we haven't heard from the partner and it truly is, beyond a 90-day payment. So we try to expose as much payment information to our advisor base as possible. And we don't only do that on the back end after travel is completed, but we actually expose it on the front end. So you have an estimated payout date for every single booking that you're making.
Perfect. All right. So this one is a two-part question. The first part is, do you cover any E&O insurance? And for those that don't know, that's errors and omissions. We'll pop a link in the comments to an article that explains what that is. So do you cover any E&O insurance or offer a group plan that we can buy into?
So yes, we do have E&O, and that covers all of our advisors. What we encourage advisors to do is, once they hit a certain level, so if you're doing above $500,000 a year in sales, that's probably a good time for you to start thinking about yourself really as a full business. So get your own E&O, start an LLC, get a business bank account. But that's a heavy lift for somebody who's just getting started. So our E&O policy does cover our advisors, so you don't need to go out and get that to get started. But when it is time, or if you are interested, we can give you recommendations of who to talk to. It's not actually a super expense. It's just more of an administrative headache that you probably don't need if you're not really sure how big your business is going to get. But at a certain point, certainly we recommend it.
Perfect. And then the follow-up is, I use Travelify for itineraries and obtaining credit card authorizations before processing payment with suppliers. Do you offer Travelify?
So a lot of our advisors are using Travelify or TravelJoy or Access for itineraries and sort of back and forth. So a lot of them are using it. We don't cover it, so it's your choice if you want to go out and use different systems. I do very much encourage advisors to use our platform in order to collect payment information, because then it's stored and you can have multiple different credit cards for clients, so whether it's their corporate card, whichever partner's card that's in there, so that those can be stored, because that is how, when you're booking through Portal, you'll be able to select that card and it automatically connects in, which is a lot more secure than having it somewhere else and having to go in, open, cut, paste. And this is actually technology that we built ourselves. Our CTO came out of fintech, so he's really careful about money stuff and security. So I would encourage people to use, and this is for our advisors who are using Travelify for itineraries, they are using Portal mostly to store the credit card information.
Perfect. And is it okay if I join and book travel for the corporate company I currently work for in addition to booking my own travel?
So I would say that's similar to the question of like working for a travel company. If you're working at a company and they say, sure, no problem, then that's fine. But you just want to be super on the up and up, because with corporate travel, you want to make sure that you're not in violation by earning commission off of company money. Like there can be some shades of gray there. So I think, again, like with everything, like honesty and transparency is the right way to go. It's great. It's great business if you can get it. And I've actually seen some advisors who I know who started out as EAs, and they, started their business booking their bosses travel. They were doing this anyhow, and they said, great, yeah, earn some extra money off of it, and ended up just becoming like this huge extra business to the point that they left that job to do travel advising full time. So if you're in the flow of travel bookings already, it's sort of crazy to leave that money on the table, unless it's something that's going to get you in trouble at work. And for the question of your own travel, like, look, yeah, when I'm like moving my daughter into her college this August, like, you better believe I booked that hotel for myself and I'm going to earn my own commission. The job of a travel advisor is to plan trips for other people, but that doesn't mean that you can't also go and book your own trips. We actually encourage people to do that. Like, we are very strict about the idea of using the platform as a way to get agency rates or free travel. That is not something you can just go about willy-nilly asking to stay for free. But of course you can, even as you're getting started, if you're going to a hotel, book it for yourself.
Do you host a website or a landing page for advisors? And if you do, is there a monthly fee associated?
So there is a profile page. Every advisor has a profile page. There's no additional fee. And actually, there's no additional fee for like any of what we're talking about. Like the cost of Fora, which is either $49 a month or $299 a year, that covers everything. So your training, your profile page where you can upload your itineraries, your guides, your know-how about different places. People get inquiries through those places. Each of them has a way to connect directly to the advisor. All of that is included in Fora. So if you go in and you look at the travel advisor pages, if you look at Lindsay's, Lindsay has her own website as well because she's got a big business at this point. But for most people, I say just use our profile page, upload your information, showcase what you know about travel, let people find you that way and show that you're like real deal doing this. You don't need to immediately go out and spend money on something else because this is something that you already have and you don't need to pay for additionally.
Excellent. And we have a question from a Canadian resident wondering if Fora will be registering at all with BC Consumer Protection, and so that BC residents can join Fora. They would love to join.
We're all laughing. Ross, do you know exactly where we are on all of this right now? The Canadian regulations. Yes. Boy, the Canadians, they make it challenging.
What I can say is we're in touch with Canada. We are actively pursuing all the steps that need to be taken for the proper setup. And we do have some Canadian-based advisors as is. So I would still encourage you to apply and go ahead and get everything set up. And there should be an update on that very, very soon.
Excellent. And we have someone that says they've applied, they've been accepted, they're ready to join. What is the next step?
The next step is to go ahead and sign up then. If you've been accepted and you have the offer to join Fora, you can follow all the steps that have been emailed to you and get signed up as soon as today. As soon as you do, you'll be invited to a kickoff call where we can welcome you formally into our community, walk you through our platform, show you how it all works. We can actually do a sample booking together. And then we have a recommended cadence of additional training opportunities to pursue, both on your own time and whenever your schedule allows to join a live opportunity. So all the next steps will follow, but if you've already been accepted and invited to join us, we look forward to seeing you on our kickoff calls very soon.
Excellent. And I know that there are a lot of questions. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but it's great. Thank you for popping them in because I know there's someone from the Fora team that's answering questions in there. But let's see, let's do one more question. So, oh shoot, I had it up here. Now, where did it go? Okay, here it goes. So is Fora active in increasing their travel partner markets? Like, for example, Explora. Are there any other suppliers or partners you're considering at the moment?
So it's funny that you say Explora, because then like Explora that used to be with the little e, that's now a big E, like Explora that's in Patagonia, which yes, we work with and we love. Is it Explora with the big E that's the ship, which actually Lindsay was on? Lindsay, were you on the very first sailing of Explora?
I was the maiden voyage to Iceland.
Yep. So we are constantly expanding our partners. I really believe, like, deeply that the democratization of this industry is about giving everybody a chance to be a player. And that means whether you're coming in as an advisor and you want to start a business and you wouldn't have been let in otherwise, great, come do it with us. If you are a new supplier, you've got a small hotel somewhere, you're challenged to reach advisors, but you've got an incredible product, please come talk to us. We really want to connect travelers and travel advisors and travel products, whether it's a ship, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a tour or guide, to each other so that we can create just like amazing experiences for travelers. I think travel is like an amazing thing to be able to do. It's also not inexpensive, so we want to make this all fantastic. And we do love onboarding new suppliers, and we actually even have our own program called Fora Reserve, where we bring in suppliers who want a more preferential relationship with our advisors.
Perfect. Well, like I said, there's more questions in there. So hopefully, you know what? I know that Dresden is working at getting all of those answered. What's the best way, Henley and Ross, for people to reach out if they have existing questions that didn't get answered?
That's a great question. We actually have a new joiner email account that anyone should feel free to reach out to. It's called joinus@foratravel.com. So feel free to reach out there if you do have any unanswered questions. We'd be happy to chat with you.
I love that you knew that. I was like, I'm not really sure what the answer to this question is.
That's joinus@foratravel.com. We can drop it in the chat.
Yes, and we are going to be sending a follow-up email with everyone. We will drop that in there as well so people can have it that didn't get their questions answered. Henley, Ross, Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Steph. We always love talking to your community. And Lindsay, I know you're super busy, so thank you for jumping on and saying all these kind things.
And we had my dog decided to join at the very end. He was just so into it. So thank all of you for joining us too and tuning in. Keep an eye out. If you aren't registered already, we'll be sending a follow-up email tomorrow. So to give people that are straggling time to watch it. But if you haven't registered already, go to hostagencyreviews.com/events and check out the events calendar. Fora's event will be up there. You can register and then you'll get the follow-up email with any resources and information. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and we will chat with you.